Hello, everyone. This is Gerald Celente, and it's a special day because we have with us the judge, Judge Andrew Napolitano. And again, as I always say, every day, all the time, and I mean it with all my heart and soul, that nobody says what the judge says with the authority and judicial background to talk about our freedoms, our civil rights, our Bill of Rights, and basically how they've been lost from us, and a thing called the Constitution that's just about been torn up in a country near you. It's not only America. I love the word, Judge. They call these democracies. Yeah. How about democracies? Who are you kidding? You know, you just did an article over here about the dangerous attacks on freedom. And it has to do with the new judge that they want to bring into the Supreme Court, Judge Brown, Jackson, and the Judiciary Committee hearings. And I'd like you to talk about them and what these Judiciary Committee hearings mean, and what are your thoughts about this judge? And again, I want to make this clear. I don't know anything about this stuff. You know, it's way over my head. But the only thing that bothers me about it, and again, and I'm not questioning the qualifications, is that the purpose that they made clear when Biden picked the judge is that it would be the first black woman. And to me, you know, that's racist and sexist. I mean, she may be the best, but how about just picking the best person that has the best qualifications for the job? Black, white, green, yellow, I could care less. So take it away, Judge.
Yeah, well, thank you, Gerald. Good morning. It's always a pleasure to be with you. I mean, Joe Biden made that promise to African-American voters in the Democratic primary in South Carolina in early 2020, and it turned around the Democratic race, or the race for the Democratic nomination for president. At that point, Bernie Sanders was actually beating him. That resonated so well with African-American voters in the Democratic Party. It put Joe over the top, and he stuck to the promise. Now, is the promise offensive? Well, Ronald Reagan promised that his first nominee would be a woman, and it was Sandra Day O'Connor. Donald Trump said one of his nominees would be a woman, and he was right. That'd be Ruth Bader Ginsburg, he said, while she was still alive, needs to be replaced by a woman, and he did. He appointed Amy Coney Barrett, now Justice Barrett, to that place. So it sounds a little odd that the choice would be made on the basis of race and gender, but in fact, presidents have been doing that. Joe Biden believes, I don't subscribe to this, but Joe Biden believes that the Supreme Court should look like the United States does. I think that's hogwash. However, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, top of her class at Harvard undergrad, top of her class at Harvard Law School, a brilliant and gifted judge, is certainly qualified. Gerald, there are many libertarians who are pleased with this choice. Why? Because on civil liberties issues, she is far better than the Republican nominees, except for Neil Gorsuch, who is a libertarian. So you're going to see Judge, soon to be Justice Jackson, agreeing with Justice Gorsuch on many civil liberties issues. She believes that there's areas of human behavior that should be immune from government regulation. The Republicans don't believe this. The Republican nominees on the court, with the exception of Justice Gorsuch, believe the legislature can legislate in any area. I was appalled at some of the questions the Republicans put to her. There's an area of human behavior. It's got a fancy phrase, substantive due process. It encompasses freedom of thought, freedom to choose a sexual partner, freedom to choose a sexual mate, freedom to have the kind of sex you want to have. Believe it or not, Connecticut used to regulate the type of sex that married couples could have, until that was thrown out by the Supreme Court on the theory that there are areas of human behavior that are none of the government's business. Justice Jackson believes that, and the Republicans attacked her for it.
So The Republicans
You
attack.
can't make this stuff up.
I
The
know.
other side of her, she's a big government liberal Democrat. So you're going to get half of the apple rather than none of the apple, like the person she's replacing, Justice Breyer.
You're right. The whole purpose of independent judiciary to be anti-democratic, to protect the rights of the minority from the tyranny of the majority, which can be worse than the tyranny of a madman. Without an independent judiciary and without a doctrine that says to the government, hands off, we will be spilling the blood of patriots in every generation.
Without the court stopping the legislature from legislating however it wants. We're talking about laws that made it a crime for married couples to use contraceptives. What business is that of the government?
Well, what business, if you say that, Judge, then what business is of the government to tell you that you must get vaccinated?
It has no authority over your own body. None. It can't tell you what to put on your face, and it can't tell you what to put in your veins, because you own your own body. That's this doctrine of substantive due process. Now, she's never ruled on vaccines and masks, but if she's consistent with what, I'm talking about Judge Jackson, soon to be Justice Jackson, if she's consistent with the way she's ruled in the past, she's with the libertarians on this stuff. I don't know if old Joe even knows that.
But nobody asked her that, though, did they?
No.
No.
And then the questions they asked her, they wouldn't even let her answer. You know, she was a model of patience. I mean, the politics makes such strange bedfellows. Here I am defending the nomination by a liberal Democrat president of a liberal Democrat judge, because the conservative Republicans who were questioning her were reprehensible, were ignorant in their understanding of the Constitution, and were attacking human freedom. But it's just crazy, the world that we live in. What the heck do the Republicans stand for? What do conservative Republicans stand for these days? Anything that's opposite of what the Democrats want. Not independent thinking, not the concept of a balanced budget, of lower taxes, of peace rather than war, just whatever is the opposite of the Democrats.
Yeah. Again, I think that term you're using...
I've had my spiel.
No, the term that you use, though, conservative Republicans, I mean, why don't you just call them what they are? A bunch of arrogant little jerks.
Yes.
That's all they are. They're nobodies. They're nobodies that are on a power trip once they get into office. Whether it's, you name them, and they're, I mean, with few exceptions, like Massey and Rand Paul, a couple of guys and women out there,
Right.
the rest of them are